Hello everybody, this is Brian Husar, and welcome to my channel as always. This is where I talk about my passions of the Beatles, music, movies, and musical theater. If you like what you see, please click subscribe down there somewhere. If you like this video, give me a huge thumbs up. So I'm going to talk about a Blu Ray release that came out in 2012 on Blu Ray. So it's not a new release, but it's of a film that I think is a classic. A flawed film, mind you, but from my favorite filmmaker, Martin Scorsese. Color of Money, starring Paul Newman and Tom Cruise. This is the 25th anniversary edition. 25th anniversary edition. We'll get to that. First, a little bit about the movie. I remember when it came out in the fall of '86. And there was a classic rock station in Chicago called WCKG. 105.9 WCKG. And I remember they were playing It's in the Way That You Use It by Eric Clapton. Entire fall season, which was the big song from this movie. I knew about it. I knew it had to do with pool. I was too young to see it. My parents followed the rules. Children under 17 not admitted without parent, and if it's a film my parents weren't interested in to see in the movie theater, well, we'll wait for it to come out on video. I saw it in 1990 on VHS, and I loved Martin Scorsese. Martin Scorsese was giving me a film education. I liked it. I still like the film, but it's a flawed film. When you put it up against Taxi Driver or Raging Bull or even later on Goodfellas. But it was his attempt to do a commercial film, give the audience what they want out of a film like this with two big stars, and give people something they like from his films, if his fans go see it. Kind of in between doing a commercial film and doing a Scorsese film. But it's a good film, classic performances. I don't think I need to go into detail about the plot of the film. It was a test for Scorsese. It was the second film he made after the defeating loss that he had trying to get Last Temptation of Christ off the ground in 1983, which he eventually did get to make. He first made an independent film called After Hours. This was a chance to see, could I do a film on a very low budget and on schedule again? Because New York, New York in 1977 cost $15 million, big budget for its time, 100-day shooting schedule. Raging Bull cost $18 million and was also 100-day shooting schedule. Fairly big budgets for their time. Actually, I think New York, New York was about $12 million. Still a fairly big budget. King of Comedy ended up costing about $20 million and again, over 100 days shooting. Could I go back and do a low-budget film and be on schedule? And he did with After Hours. Came in way under budget. Was budgeted at $4 million, brought it in at $3 million. Brought it in on schedule, and now can I do a commercial Hollywood film with two big stars? He was personally asked by Paul Newman to direct it. Two big stars, Paul Newman, Tom Cruise, who was still riding high after Top Gun, even though Top Gun hadn't come out yet when they filmed it, but he was still a big young star. Done by a major Hollywood studio, Touchstone, which is an affiliate with Disney. Bring it in, under budget, and ahead of schedule. Budgeted at $14 million, he brought in at $13, and brought it in 2 days ahead of schedule. Normally on a film like this, it'd be way over budget. Always happens. And he had a big financial success with this film. And it got Paul Newman his long-awaited Academy Award for Best Actor. How could you go wrong with this? Why would this be a bad release from one of our greatest filmmakers of all time, Martin Scorsese? Two big stars, Paul Newman and Tom Cruise, Color Money, 25th anniversary edition. How could this go wrong? This release. Now, you want a perfect example of a Blu Ray that should have been recalled? It is this thing right here. First off, 25th anniversary edition. Where's the 25th anniversary retrospective? Where are trailers? Where's a documentary on the making of the film? Heck, where is just even a featurette from when this came out? A 5-minute featurette that they would have shown on cable or something like that, in between the movies on HBO. Absolutely nothing. It's just the film. And when we talk about the film, this is atrocious. There's no detail, no grain structure. There's grain, but the grain is out of focus. When one thing goes off on a transfer, it can make everything wrong with the whole project. So no grain structure, no detail, no density, no color, hardly. The pool tables are supposed to be green. To quote Robert Harris in his review of this for HomeTheaterForum.com, it looks as if somebody took an old transfer and said, fix it. And they twiddled some knobs and things to, okay, so we corrected that, as a result of us correcting that, we have this problem, but we now have this problem, but it's good enough for Blu-ray. Here you go. Here's your 25th anniversary release, Scorsese fans. With this release and the initial Blu-ray release of Gangs of New York, which had to be corrected, and they did eventually correct it, it looks like somebody at Disney has a vendetta against Scorsese. Hence, I think the release of his film Kundun is still not on Blu-ray domestically. This is ugly. Now, of course, if I want to watch the film, I have to deal with this. And there's enough there where I'm able to remember what it was like when I initially saw it, and did eventually at one point see a screening of it later on. Now, another thing. During this time, Scorsese and his editor, Thelma Schoonmaker, did do a 4K transfer of this, supposedly. Why was that version not included on here? This needed to be recalled. Enough people complained about it to Disney. Normally when that happens, they realize a mistake has been made. They did it with the Blu-ray of Gladiator that came out in 2009. They did it with the Blu-ray of Saving Private Ryan. The last whole sequence was off sync, drastically off sync. They had a recall program. Both of those had a recall program, and when something like that happens, usually studios are pretty good. Disney flat out ignored it. This needs to come out. They need to farm it out. If they don't want to do it themselves, they need to farm it out to either Criterion and have a nice big Criterion Collection release, or some of the other smaller specialty companies like Shout Factory, like Olive, like Kino Lorber Classics, like Arrow Video. Like, there's a number of them that are out there that are just doing great work at the level Criterion's been doing it at. That's what they need to do. This is unacceptable. That's my take on the 2012 Blu-ray edition, 25th anniversary Blu-ray edition of The Color of Money. I'd like to thank a friend of mine, Gene Sullivan, who suggested I do a video of something that I don't like. And here it is. Thank you so much for watching my channel again. Please leave me a comment. Please spread the word about my channel. If there's anything you'd like me to talk about, please let me know. And until we meet again.